Okay, hear me out. When I started this new video series of mod showcases, the idea was simple. I would gather a list of mods for all the Stalker games, mods that looked interesting, were recommended to me in the comments, or just had good ratings. I would play them in their entirety, from beginning to end pretty much, and if I liked them, only if I liked them, if I thought they were worth sharing with you, I would make a video about them. That was the gist of the idea. And I gave myself some rules that I think are very important to decide if I would talk about a mod or not. Like, they need to have a good English translation, because I think it's extremely important to fully enjoy a story-based mod, to be able to understand everything correctly. They had to be stable, not too buggy, not too complicated to install, and so on. Pretty basic stuff, just making sure that I'm sharing things that most people are actually gonna enjoy. And here we are, only the second video of the series, and I'm already gonna break the rules I gave to myself a little bit. Let me explain. Today we are talking about Wind of Time, a mod for Call of Pripyat. I absolutely loved it, one of the best stories I have so far, with plot twist, betrayal, surprises, and just like super interesting from beginning to end. But, and it's a big but, the mod is not super stable. I had a lot of random crashes along the way, and I'm not the only one. It seems to be a recurrent problem for most people playing it. It's not bad to the point it makes you want to give up. I wouldn't be talking about this mod today if that was the case, but it's enough to be a little bit frustrating. I still believe that these mod qualities vastly overcome this issue, and it would be a mistake not to try it if you are a real Stalker fan. But for the sake of transparency, I had to warn you guys, there's some crashes. That being said, let's get started. Let's talk about the story first, as it is one of the main selling points for a mod like this one. Oh, and I want to say that the mod has a brand new English translation that's actually very good. It used to have a real bad one if you played it a long time ago. That was like really preventing people to enjoy the story, but it has been fixed and the translation is perfect. The story starts in the future, in 2048 exactly. The zone has been expanding more and more over the years and is getting a little bit out of control, threatening to spread to the whole planet. A team of scientists invented a time machine and decides to send you to the past, in 2014, to try to prevent the first big blowout that started the zone expansion. For some reason, the intro immediately made me feel like 14 years old me playing Half-Life for the first time, and I was hooked immediately. It's gonna be hard to say much more about the story without giving any spoilers, but trust me, it's really on another level. It could honestly be a fourth Stalker game, that's how good the story, the dialogues, all the quest designs are. It's like playing a movie and you want to keep progressing just to see what's happened next. I beat the main story in like 15-18 hours, in the easy difficulty because I'm a CC, which is pretty good for a mod. But if you decide to do all the side quests, and I highly recommend it because a ton of them are really good and very interesting, this mod will last you a very long time. I can't say too much, but you're gonna meet ghosts, clones, powerful beings and entities, travel to different worlds, basically a ton of new and really cool stuff I was really not expecting. This is really not an ordinary Stalker mod. One thing that I love is that there are many ways to do some quests, different dialogue options that will change what happens to you. You can decide to side with different peoples and factions along the way. For example, at some point in the story, you meet a Stalker that's super depressed and wants to die, but doesn't have the balls to kill himself, so he asks you to kill him. Here, you can decide to simply push him off a ledge and go get your reward, or actually decide to help him and go on a full side quest to discover what's actually wrong with him, and there's a ton of quests and moments like this. Not everything is linear, and this mod has a great replayability actually. The level design is on point, it's actually really good. Some places are the same, but you will access them differently depending on your quests and story. The general map of the zone is a little bit different. Some places you will only be able to go once, which makes for very high-stake missions, and you have to make sure you discover everything a place has to offer before leaving. Some places have been completely redesigned, like Rostock, and it's pretty cool as it's a familiar place that you have to discover again, with ton of new people, traders, and a lot of hidden secrets. This mod absolutely nails the atmosphere of the zone. There's a lot of new underground places that are really fun to explore and are really scary at the same time. I mean, look, I'm just gonna leave you with these clips.
Винсент перегородили юнкера. К Сапунову подошел полковник.
I mean, that's why we love this game, right? And it fits perfectly with how the mod plays with a lot of the creepy and supernatural parts of the zone, without saying anything about the story, no spoilers. There's also a lot of world building that makes the whole mod really immersive. For example, early on, stalkers will warn you not to wander in the Red Forest at night, as many people mysteriously disappear. If you want to see by yourself, you will discover pretty quickly that at night special anomalies everywhere will teleport you randomly in the forest, and if you're unlucky, you can get stuck in there for a while. I know we find the same thing for many other mods, but when you get stashes information on dead bodies, they all have a nice little backstory that first makes the stash easier to find if it's well hidden, but here it hits differently. I actually caught myself reading all of them, and that actually makes it feel more personal and satisfying to find. The mod is full of little things like this. That's what I call like the world building aspect. Overall, it makes everything very immersive. You're really into what's happening in the story. Combat and gunfighting is simple, but actually pretty fun, and there's a ton of weapons available, so everybody will find something that they like to use. I'm gonna make a little bit the same point I made for Vector of Alienation, that it's actually nice not to have to bother with 1,000 different items and upgrades and things like this. Like, it's a much more simple and refreshing way to play the game. Artifacts have been reworked and are very important in terms of survivability and quality of life, so I highly recommend going artifact hunting whenever you can. The game is hard but fair, which is the sweet spot in my opinion. My only gripe is with mutants. They tend to be giant bullet sponges, which is a bit annoying. You will learn to love explosive to solve this issue. So, in short, if you can gloss over some bugs and crashes and have the patience to explore and take the time to discover the zone, because as many story-driven mods, you'll have to figure a lot of things by yourself using clues NPCs give you, then this mod is definitely for you. It's an absolute gem with one of the best story I've encountered so far, and I highly recommend it. Okay, I think that's good for now. If you have some mod recommendations, please share them in the comments. I'm looking at some ideas for the next videos.